Today, we have Brett Perkins. He's traveled to over 30 countries and played more than 5,000 concerts. Wow. He has assisted thousands of writers in further developing their songs and careers. As a formal National Academy of Songwriters CEO, he has produced concerts featuring many legendary songwriters, including Joni Mitchell, Tom Petty, and Stevie Wonder. Wow. I want to hear about the Joni Mitchell concert you did. I need to hear about that. Please welcome Brett Perkins. Yay.
Thank you. Lovely to be back. And actually, it's 40 countries as of this year. I just came back from 8 months in Southeast Asia. I was in Thailand, Vietnam, Laos, Cambodia, Nepal, Indonesia, New Zealand, Australia. Woo! I went for 2 months and stayed for 8.
Singing the whole way.
Yeah, singing the whole way, and grateful the whole way. So, I often find as a singer-songwriter that my songs, hopefully, are distilled moments of what I would talk about. So I'm going to use songs as the markers between the sections of my talk today, and this is the first one, called Wonder and Surprise. I hope you're happy that you came here. I hope you welcome each sunrise. I hope your spirit always stays clear, sees the world through loving eyes. I hope you found something to do here that helps you sleep well through the night, and that you welcome every new year, full of wonder and surprise. May your heart never feel lonely. May you keep an open mind. May you come to know we're only here to love for a short time. I hope you find someone to hold dear through the sorrows and goodbyes, and that you welcome all that's true here, full of wonder and surprise. Life's a mystery, never-ending sea. Then there's you and me swimming along in the here and now, finding peace somehow in the timeless Taos flowing on. When the time comes for your leaving, I hope you've lived a long, full life, filled with days of deeper meaning. Most your dreams once realized. I hope you face the end without fear, that you don't hold on too tight, and may your soul let go your last tears as you step into the light. Life's a mystery, never-ending sea. Then there's you and me swimming along in the here and now, finding peace somehow in the timeless Taos flowing on. Hope you're happy that you came here. face the world through loving eyes. I hope you found something to do here that helps you sleep well through the night. May you welcome all every new year, full of wonder and surprise. May you welcome all that's true here, full of wonder and surprise. Thank you. So I'm grateful to be here. I'm grateful for that song. I get a lot of my song ideas come to me in dreams. I realize that this is my 50th anniversary of playing live my own songs in front of audiences, so I'm grateful for that too. Knock on wood, 51 maybe too. So that song actually showed up in a dream. Sometimes I feel that I'm a writer. Often I feel more like a song catcher, which is a term that many of the indigenous peoples of many lands will say. They wouldn't have the hubris to say, I wrote this. They'd say, I received this and brought it to the tribe. So perhaps a song shaper would be my middle ground on that in the Western way. And that particular song was a very vivid dream. It seems so real, as many dreams do and perhaps are, where a young George Harrison sang me that song. Mm. And I woke up and just tried to capture all the words that he sang to me. And it was so like, wow, yeah. And it, it could have been the chocolate bar I ate before bed, or the documentary on the Beatles and all that. But anyway, it came in a really lovely way. So, yeah. So yes, I said I would talk today about gratitude and cultivating gratitude. And I'm a big fan of quotes. Well, I guess they're now called memes, but I've been collecting quotes for years. And one of the ones that stuck with me a very long time is attributed to French Enlightenment philosopher Voltaire, writer and philosopher, who said, the most important decision you make is to be in a good mood. And when I first read that, I remember thinking, well, sure, easy for you to say, because I wasn't in a particularly good mood when I read it. I recall many, many years ago. This was in the 80s, I think. And my life has been a journey of countering that initial negativity. My story, part of my story, we all have our stories, the stories we tell about ourselves. As my friend Stan Smith called our personal myth. And there are many myths. And of course, we're not contained by any of those stories, I think, because it's an evolving story. But part of my physiology, the story of my physiology, is that I had severe trauma from the age 4 to 9 when the brain is still forming. Pretty much every kind of, the term abuse, every kind you can put under that category, and that's enough said with the ages in the room. Just to say that, and it formed a different kind of brain, which took me a really long time to figure out through therapy, through study, through studying the brain, through wondering where all these thoughts came from. And so cultivating gratitude was is a survival tool. Not just survival, but also to go from surviving to thriving. And so I keep a daily gratitude list. It's the very first thing I do in the morning. I do not open my phone to any of the things that have come in. I do keep the list on the phone, but I turn off all the notifications before I go to sleep. I really recommend that. That's like one of my top 10 recommendations. Turn off all the notifications so that when you see your phone, you don't first see the email from whomever, because right away your brain is going to go into that. And we're at our most, according to neuroscience, I'm not a scientist, but we're at our most open and vulnerable when we're first coming into waking consciousness. So I want that to be a really pleasant entry because I've already got a backlog of negative stuff that runs on an endless loop tape. So I will open my phone without any notifications and open my gratitude list. And sometimes my gratitude is, wow, I feel really rested. I feel really good. I'm really present. And it's going to be a kind of what I consider an easy day, you know. Like, it's not loud in my head, the other stuff. And some days I wake up and go, oh, this is familiar, this feeling, this cloud, this heaviness. And so I start with, I woke up. There's gratitude. I'm awake, you know. I'll be 64 in September, and as is the way of life, many of my friends that I grew up with are no longer walking the planet in a corporal sense. I don't know. Sometimes they visit me in my dreams, so who knows? But and so I'm grateful for waking, and then I'll be. So some days I'm talking myself into gratitude, and that's okay, because the more I focus on it, the more I notice things to be grateful for. So it might be work to say, yeah, I'm awake, but, you know, there's the but. And then sometimes I'm grateful, well, I'm usually grateful for that first latte. I mean, that's a big part of every day. As a traveling singer-songwriter, I'm on full-time tour now. At the age of 63, I decided to take my paltry early Social Security. I gave up my apartment in Denmark, where I've lived the last 25 years. I cut all the ties. I'm down to the smallest storage unit, and I'm going to empty it in September when I go back. And I'm traveling full-time and living from playing music and living simply. So the gratitude list is often I woke up in a shelter, in a space where I'm safe, and the water is clean, or I have a source of clean water, and I'm not worried about food scarcity today, and I'm living in a pain-free body, or, you know, relatively. So, and those are big ones, and a lot of people on the earth, in fact, the majority of the people on the earth are waking up in a different reality, having traveled and seen pretty abject poverty in Nepal and Laos and Cambodia. I realized how little some people have. But one of the other things I realized is at first I just saw the poverty. I came from I grew up in Los Angeles and have lived in Denmark the last 25 years, and, you know, the developed nations. And here I was in what some call the third world, which I've never understood because it's one world. But all I saw at first was deprivation, you know, wooden floors that flooded and you know, rough living. But then after a while, I started noticing these kids are really happy. They're like, they come up to you, hey, hi, you know, and they smile. And the people, the laughter, the joy in the Cambodian people, especially, I really took Laos and Cambodia were really my heart places. And the fact that they greet everyone with namaste. You know, the spirit in me acknowledges the spirit in you. I thought, what a way to go about starting your day, you know. So yes, they lack, and perhaps they would like, most of them aspire to having perhaps a wood floor rather than a dirt floor, and maybe some of the modern comforts. Most people have phones and things, but the joy. First I saw the poverty, and then I saw the joy, and I went, how are these connected or not connected? And then I just saw people, and people that seemed to be joyous, and of course there's suffering, and you know, there's a lot of work to do. So one of my practices, gratitude practice, is the gratitude that I get to play my music and travel the world. I mean, having the freedom to do that, having an American passport, as much as I am deeply concerned about the direction of the country under the current, I don't call it leadership, but under the current, control, chaos. There's so many adjectives that come to mind, and I really don't want to give it any more of my energy than that. But still, the American passport opens many, many doors. Although there's a lot more questions now that people want to talk about it. Yes. So I have this gratitude for doing that, and then I look around and say, okay, well then how can I amplify that gratitude? And so I started to play in Cambodia quite a bit. I'm grateful. Expats there who said, hey, you're in town, come play on my show. And pretty soon I had shows, and the cost of living is about 30% of Denmark. So it doesn't take much to do well over there. And so I decided, I looked around and I saw that poverty and I saw the need, and then I met a fellow who another songwriter from the U.S. who's living in Cambodia, and he started a school. He noticed all the children, he called it the barefoot children, the children without shoes, and there's many children without shoes. The kids don't mind, but it was something that struck him coming from the West. So he started a school where they could offer musical education, and he would get donated instruments, and in traditional Khmer, which is the Cambodian culture, and also Western music. And that idea became 2 schools where over 400 children now receive a free education. And so I got to go to the school and meet the kids, and it was like, sit in with them and play guitar, and so I decided to start songwriter festivals in places that I want to come back to every year. And so I started the Phnom Penh Songwriters Festival this last year, and the Siem Reap Songwriters Festival. Siem Reap is the location of Angkor Wat, which is a World Heritage Site, one of the largest temples still on the planet, visible on the planet. Beautiful place. And we raised money for these schools. And it was just the first year, and we raised, I don't know, I think close to $300. But $300 there is about $3,000 over here. And a lot, I see the results. And the other thing is that the kids who were learning these instruments, and I got to chatting with the director of the school. This young woman, totally devoted, passionate. She came from poverty. She wanted to make a difference in the world. She's Voltaire again, tend your own garden. The world can be overwhelming. I can't fix the world, but if someone's hungry in front of me, I can offer them a meal, Or if someone's hungry for knowledge, because what's going to change the world is education. I mean, if you want to lift these societies up, you need to educate the children, I believe. Of course, my mom was a school teacher, so I know I have some indoctrination there, but I still believe in it. And so I spoke to her about, well, what do you want, aside from you need money? And she said, I want these children to have a chance to perform somewhere. They've learned these dances, they put so many hours in, but we don't know how to do that. And I said, I know how to do that. So I put on my Western hat and started looking for venues, and I got them 2 bookings in their very town, in Siem Reap, but they just didn't know how to do it. And then I pushed like when I was in advertising sales in the 80s. I pushed, which I don't do much anymore. I like to just sort of let things evolve, but I pushed, and I got them on the cover of the national newspaper, dancing in their traditional costumes, and that was it. Now they're playing shows, all over, and they're at a whole nother level. I get goosebumps, because I'm not telling you to say, oh, look what I did. I'm just grateful because I could just do my thing and amplify it and find someone else, and we benefited together. So, really wonderful. So now, here I am in my 50th year. I was being asked earlier what comes from here. So I am grateful that I'm here for the full week in Taos, and that I'm soft launching the first annual Taos Songwriters Festival, because as I said, I like to create festivals in places I want to come back to. I'm going to be here anyway, and I believe in community building. I can see the community here. Songwriters are a community, but we're often scattered and working in isolation. And we can't come to each other's gigs because we're playing, So I go into a town, this will be the 3rd year in Flagstaff, coming up in 2 weeks. We just had the 10th year in Idlewild, California. San Luis Obispo, 1st year, was a month ago, and this is the 1st year here. And I do my best to freely promote and lift the awareness of what's already going on, and you have so much great music going on here. And then usually I will put a show together that I host. I'm actually playing a house concert in Arroyo Seco on Saturday, so and I'm going to go out and play at Barro Vino's open stage, and I forget the other one that's on, the Alley Cantina on Monday night. And I'm going to go to the Sagebrush and go to the Taos Inn and, check out as much as I can.
Can I put a little plug in tonight?
Yes.
Anam Cara
Yes.
is playing at the Wildflower with Michael Mandrell. They're going to be the first set. And then the second Wind Endeavor, which is a brand new collection of people that are going to be playing the second set, 7 o'clock at the Wildflower tonight.
Yes, and that was a venue I was unaware of. So this is the thing. If I say I'm doing a festival, do you know about? Oh, I don't. Okay, educate me. And then by the second year, if not the first year, in Cambodia it was easy to identify a charity because there are so many needs. So I've already met with your community, I'm terrible with remembering names, Taos community, the people who facilitate all the donations. It's
Foundation.
Thank you, foundation. That was the word I was thinking. Fund, that's not it. It has to do with funding. But and so I've asked them to help me to designate a charity for next year. And then the venues can choose to have a donation box or not. You know, everyone gets promoted anyway. In Flagstaff last year, we raised, the first year we raised $513. And the second year we raised over $2,000 for the community food fund, food bank there. So, you know, it's not huge headline stuff, and that's okay. I've adopted many years ago and I don't know who the source of this quote is, but don't think big, think amazing. And I like that, because I can live there. When I try to do big, I'm not focused on gratitude, I'm focused on, but how come this didn't happen? Or, you know, we were shooting for this, how come we? So here it's just like, well, let's see what I can do that's taking care of me, because I need to, you know, I can't give more than I have to give, and I need to take care of me. And then how can it be a collective community event? And that is, ultimately, if I have to sum it up in a word, it's love. And so that leads me to my next song, which will require, in your nice dry atmosphere here, a little bit of water. Oh, and by the way, if you didn't notice, there are free stickers for the festival this year. That's the huge... oh, I need a cable. Now, I might have played this last year. I don't recall, but I don't think I did. And the thing is, I'm trying to always practice being in the now, which means it's a great way of saying I don't remember. I'm just in the now. This is called I Won't Give Up on Love. And there are postcards for my music there with a QR code, and you can download all my recordings for free. Ever since Spotify was created, I figured I'd give it away. And this came out on an album in 2009. And in my head, I'm listening to the string quartet that's accompanying me. Heaven knows how I am here with you, and heaven knows where this is leading to. After all the heartache I've been through, I won't give up on love. Could have been the way you said hello. Could be something deeper, I don't know. Certain I don't want to see you go, so don't give up on love. Breathe. Will we share this waking mystery? Walk together, feeling found and free. Face the unhealed space in you and me, and not give up telling it like it is. Heaven knows how I'm here with you, and heaven knows where this is leading to. After all the heartache we've been through, let's not give up on love. After all the heartache I've been through, I won't give up on love, on you. I'm grateful for that song, and the thing about songs and receiving songs that I've realized over the years, especially when I got past the whole idea of industry and hits and all this kind of stuff, which I'm not focused on at all anymore. I'm just focused on the joy of playing music. Is the power that a song can have and how it can transform in its meaning for the different listeners. So I generally won't tell the story of where a song came from because I want people to have their own meaning. But this particular song has a story that is poignant and related to Taos, and which I'm very grateful for. So I wrote that song many years ago, and it was actually when my first marriage ended, suddenly and unexpectedly, and I was devastated. and yet here I was writing this song, trying to convince myself, there was my gratitude list, you know, I won't give up on love, even though I was feeling pretty given up on with love. Years later, 2 years ago, I played a house concert here in Taos at the home of Sonny Redmond, who has since passed, local artist. And there was a couple, older couple, sitting, you know, about a room like this, maybe about 40 people. And as I'm playing that song, I'm noticing a lot going on. You know, there's a lot of emotion. And then their hands reach out and grab each other. They're not looking at each other. And their knuckles are going white. I'm thinking, there's a lot going on. And then tears are coming down. I'm thinking, what? I hope I'm not traumatizing these people. So I finished the set, took a break, and people were hanging around and chatting. And, you know, I ended up next to them. And I said, thank you for listening. And they said, oh, we need to talk to you about that song. And I said, sure, I noticed something was going on. They said, that's our song. I said, well, I'm pretty sure I wrote it, but or I caught it. No, they said, no, both of us were thinking, as we heard it, that's our story. That's the story. They were getting married. Now, I may have the numbers wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was for the 9th time collectively. Both their 70s, still believing in love, and excited as could be. So they said, we would like you to play that at our wedding. And I said, well, I don't live here, you know, I live in Europe, but I'm here once a year. Well, when are you here next? And I said, well, when's your wedding? They said, we're planning it for, you know, late June and next year. I said, I'll be there. So so now my memory of writing that song from sitting in with tears streaming down and trying to comfort myself in 2007, and here playing it at a house concert, and now last year playing it in this beautiful aspen grove up in Arroyo Seco, outdoors in this ceremony. Amazing. And now I've been invited to play a house concert at their home this Saturday, where I will play for their friends. So that's the, you know, it's an incredible trajectory. I know we're streaming, but I haven't told them the original source of the song because I didn't want to take the joy from them. But it is a song about not giving up on love. And that, to me, that is gratitude. Even when I don't feel it, you know, sometimes the list is, I woke up, I'm breathing, I can breathe. Because, you know, not that I ever want to find my comfort in seeing how others suffer, but all you have to do is look around and see that everyone has stuff going on. We all do, you know. We all have our challenges. We're all here, as my friend Kevin Welsh says, there'll be 2 dates on your tombstone. when you die. And all that really matters is that little dash in between. You know, what you do with that little dash in between. And we're all having our little dash and our universal individual experience called life, death, and what happens in between. And my biggest gratitude practice is to be thankful for the path that the trauma put me on. I am not thankful for the trauma. You know, I wouldn't wish it upon anyone. But in my writing, I called it a dark gift because it set me on a path of curiosity and self-awareness and studying, not academically, but self-studying the brain and how we how we process things and how I process things differently than. But we all pretty much, I mean, we're all kind of on the curve. Now we're all accepting we're all on that curve somewhere, you know. That makes it a lot more comforting. I don't have to think, what is wrong with that person like I used to? I think, I wonder where they are on the curve. That's an interesting perspective, you know. It's a more open perspective. So I think I'll wrap up because I think I'm getting to the wrap-up point. Okay. One of the things that I just loved again, in Cambodia, in all the countries, and it's not to say that the other countries weren't amazing. I had so many wonderful experiences. I'm going back from after I do this week, I'm in Ghost Ranch next week for the first time, leading a songwriting workshop. And through the Ghost Ranch organization, then I'm in Flagstaff for a week-long festival there. Hopefully the smoke will have dissipated. They'll get that fire under control. You know, grateful for the firefighters and all the folks who are out there on the front line. And then I will, at the end of August, I will head back to Copenhagen to do the Copenhagen Songwriters Festival, which is the longest running. I started that in 2009, and lead a songwriting retreat. I also have postcards about the retreats. I'm grateful for those. I fell into those. I went to a songwriting retreat in 1997. I didn't know what it was. And I got involved for a few years. And then the guy who was running them stopped. And suddenly they said, would you continue it? And I said, oh, sure, I could, you know. And now, next year's the 25th anniversary, over 100 retreats that I've led with over 2,000 writers in 9 countries. You know, it's like, it's a pretty cool life. And I did not design it from A to B. I fell into it through being open and curious, wonder and surprise. You know, curiosity. And so when I was in Nepal, what I noticed, in Cambodia and in Laos, you see a lot of the monks walking around. It is a way of having a steady meal and a place to live. So a lot of young men become monks. And I didn't see as many monks in Nepal, but what I found, as in Cambodia and Laos, and again, my limited perspective, the monk who rings the bell and all that, you know, the ceremony. Whereas in Nepal, there were temples on just about every corner, and you'd hear these bells chiming all the time, little brass bells, you know, bing. So someone would come and do their whatever, give their thanks or their prayer or whatever, and then they'd ring the bell and they'd walk on. And I thought, I like that. It's very egalitarian. You know, everybody can ring the bell. And so I'm going to finish with a song that I wrote in Nepal called "Ring the Bell," and then I got a chance to play with 2 musicians from Nepal who literally had one of you had Tibetan bell that you rang. Yes, this is what they were ringing, and another guy on the flute, and it was just, it's on my YouTube channel. If you're interested, you can find all that. But the warning that I now give since 2014, there are 2 Brett Perkins singer-songwriters in the world. For one, I'm no longer on Facebook. The algorithm kicked me off in May, for no good reason, so you won't find me there. But if you just Google Brett Perkins, you might get a born-again Christian missionary songwriter. His perspective and mine, probably on a universal, are similar, but not really globally. So just so you know, choose your message. Anyhow, all right. Yes, so this is Ring the Bell. Thank you for listening. And I do have an email list. I send out a newsletter once a month. So if you're interested, you can always opt in or opt out. And I let you know about the workshops and things. And of course, when I'm coming back to Taos. And I love to play house concerts. That's my joy. So if anyone thinks I could put 10 friends together in the living room and have him play next time, talk to me. I'd be happy to. If you're feeling low, got nowhere to go. Ring the bell. Ring the bell. Ring the bell with me if you want. If you need to cry to someone way on high, ring the bell. Ring the bell. To the babe born in a manger, to the prophet on the hill, to the kindness of a stranger, to a heart that won't be still. If you're feeling great, wanna celebrate, ring the bell. Ring the bell. If you're at the gate and you just can't wait, ring the bell. Ring the bell. For the babe born in a manger, for the prophet on the hill, for the kindness of a stranger, for a heart that won't be still. If you're feeling low, got nowhere to go, ring the bell. 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 Jenny Bird on the bell. All right. That was a spontaneous and lovely thing. Thank you. Thank you. That took me back to Kathmandu. Wonderful. So I'm in town all week. I'll be out at the various venues just checking out music and all that, and then playing the house concert on Saturday. It is open to the public, so if you want information about that, I can provide their RSVP list. It's a beautiful setting up
in Senko at Alana's
yeah,
house.
Yeah,
it's right next to my daughter's house. It's
gorgeous.
Really great.
And they built an outdoor stage and the whole thing. And
far out.
it has these aspen trees.
Yeah.
Or they're birch or aspen. I always get
I think
confused.
they're aspen.
Aspen, and they're just gorgeous. You know, it's just a magical Tolkien kind of setting.
Yeah.
So thank you again.
Thanks for being here, Brett. We all know this song. I played a lot because I love it. It's one of my favorite ones that I've written. And it started out with my Pueblo elder tell us good morning. It was like, you know, when it rains, it just follows on the mountains and it kind of misses us here on the mesa. He goes, because you don't pray good enough. I was like, okay. So this is my attempt at a better prayer. Look over there, answer to prayers, rain come. Drip on the sill, buckets to fill, rain come. Nourish the ground, rumbling sound, rain come. Smells so sweet, cool breeze breaks the heat, rain comes. Feel that smell. It's been so dry, the blistering sky, days go by. No hay to bale, crops sure to fail, days go by. Still buzz in the air, no God seem to care, days go by. Cracks in the earth, no signs of rebirth, the days go by. Our ancestors dance and sing for the rain to fall. forgotten those ways and words when there's no rain at all. Drought fills the land when the fertile ground turns to desert sand. So precious, please don't forget us, Spirit of the rain. Go there, answer the prayers, rain come. Drip on the sill, buckets to fill, rain come. Nourish the ground, rumbling sound, rain come. Smells so sweet, cool breeze breaks the heat, rain.